when you come here, like, you so by you talking your story, they can see how you persevere. If you're constantly swearing back and forth, you're never going to learn.
But hold on, respect's supposed to be guiding in these generations.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to get both of you to not do that in the future, right?
The thing is...
The same thing I say to you, I say to him. The same thing I say to you, I just say to you.
The thing is, I don't think I've seen you say shit for respect.
No,
Yes.
I say to everyone. I was just now with Raj, right? Raj was 1 against 100. And what was I doing?
Trust me, he's done it in the past as well, so he will say. He may not do it public all the time.
Here's what it is, right? The problem is, because we kind of domino effect, so we can't see where it started. I'm saying, I need to go to the person who's most in control. It might be you, it might be him, right? If it's you, I'm saying, just for this conversation, don't use name calling. Just stick on the topic of what you're saying. Let's try to actually teach them. Because our individual experiences is what people want to hear so they can learn from it. Swearing isn't our individual experience.
Let's talk about the poppy. Let's talk about, is it a symbol for those who died at Verdun? Or is it a...
I'm an Indian.
See, this is what it shows what I would.
Hey!
I mean, how can you... This is unacceptable, look.
I've got a poppy for you. You want a poppy?
But so right,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right? You have an issue with the niqab or the burqa.
I mean, I have an issue with it in the sense that I think it's disrupting social cohesion. So when someone's covering their face, one of the ways that I think there's a lot of tensions in the UK, and if it keeps on growing at the rate it grows, and at the moment you've got a small percentage, but if it keeps on growing and it's not challenged, you could have 20-30% of Muslim women wearing the veil, and no one can talk to them because he already just says the reason they wear it is there is a barrier to men.
But you have spoken to people in the veil before.
No, but that person came over to me. Oh, last week, but she came over to me to talk about this issue.
But
the problem is, during the conversation, I never got into the point where I felt like I knew this as an individual. It was just a black.
Does she have a right to want to live that way?
She has a right to want to live that way, but I think at the precise moment for social cohesion,
So there's two things, right? You can recommend something, and you can try to get it banned.
Yeah.
So I can recommend that she should do that, but if I try to get it banned, that means I'm
All right. So when I say I want to try and get it banned, I'm one individual. I have no power.
I know, but
all I'm saying, let's discuss the issue and give me some good points as to why you want to wear it.
Recommend.
Now, every time they tell me the reason why they wear the niqab is because us men are too savage to be around them. So that guy just said it's a barrier because us men can't control ourselves. Then what you're doing is then what they're doing here is look, Modi splashed water in her face and he's Modi splashed water in her face and he's bigging it up.
So I said fuck Mohammed because he's a prick. But, don't you know who Mohammed is?
Let's fucking go for this.
Here's what it is, right? Let's try to find the first dominant. Why are you offended? Because you're talking about the burqa.
No, Modi came over and said that I'm not allowed to consult any type of prophet or Islam or anything.
Why do you want to?
No, look. It's not that I want to. It's that I can. No.
Right.
There's a very big difference. He came over with his phone saying, "Oh, I saw your YouTube comment. You can't say this." And I said, "Yes, I can. We're not under Sharia. I can say it."
But why do you want to? It's a question. Why do you want to?
No. Look. It's not about if I want to or don't want to. The fact is I can.
I know you can, but now you can.
Just like how people can tell me that they think I should have killed myself when I was 13 instead of transitioning.
So you need to.
Now you said that, I can ask them why do you want that, and then we can have a conversation. But if you say that and we go back and forth, you're this, you're that, run around such dances.
All right. So from her point of view, hold on.
We're actually getting somewhere. Why is he discussing?
Well, in my opinion, he was a warlord, married a 6-year-old girl.
Right. So
they say he's a perfect example for all of mankind. Until today, they use the argument that our ancestors and stuff did it, but no one says I haven't heard anyone say that we think our ancestors are the best representation of all of humankind.
These are three things that you.
That's just three.
Is there anything that he's done that you approve of?
Well, obviously, but I need to intervene. 1 minute. I need to intervene. How can somebody who's transgender or homosexual not be offended by a system under that religion that calls for the death of them. It's like a chicken supporting KFC. What? No, but can you not understand why she might be really, really offended by people propagating stuff that she should be killed under Sharia? So when she say quite, I don't. Before I say that, I don't agree with her saying F whatever, but if she says it, I can kind of understand why somebody from their background might be really
that's
hostile.
Why we have to have a conversation. So
Yeah.
I want to have a conversation what drives the words, not the actual words itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're trying to go back.
Yeah, yeah.
So now we've established that there's things you don't agree with. But if the main thing you don't agree with is you believe that in the culture, someone who lives your kind of lifestyle will be harmed, then that's the conversation to have,
Not
right?
put in a hole and have stones.
Or
thrown
chucked
in
off a
their
building.
head.
Right. So obviously you disprove of it. So
Yeah.
this is the starting conversation.
So why would any Muslim expect me to respect this?
Well, before we get there, that's the starting conversation.
It's
right?
like a
Because
chicken
hold on,
supporting
you-
KFC.
hold on, so this, you might be correct in that
Yeah.
information. It might not be correct.
Yeah.
There might be people
Yeah.
who believe it's true.
Do you want the arms to go as well?
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
But the thing is, if we're shouting back and forth, because for example, people are born into cultures, right? And these cultures happened before they were born. So they can't change what was there prior to them being there. Just like what you've gone through, right? So these are the conversations we have to have. But the name calling, we won't get there at all. So we've established that one reason why you might be offended by the Islam culture is because you believe that your lifestyle or your reality, you'll be harmed, right?
Not if. It will definitely be
Okay, so
harmed.
that's the conversation to have. The conversation is, is it okay for me to do harm because of my...
And what did they say? Yes.
well, then,
It happened earlier. It happened earlier.
okay, well then the question is, why?
All the things she's possessed.
Oh yeah, they say you're possessed with a jinn, which is why you feel like that.
Well, this is the thing. When people talk about supernaturalism and this kind of gets very challenging.
But she's trying to explain to you why would as you as an individual, what you are as a core as a person is being attacked by a particular faith, and then you expect people from that particular community to be friendly with them.
Yes.
How can they? Because their whole core being is being attacked by them.
I don't expect anyone to be friendly. I'm saying when you come to speakers' corners, we're trying to speak to find solutions for the challenge, right? And that is a challenge that you're born in a certain body and you feel a certain way, and people are judging you for it, right? But before we can hear it, people are using name calling. You know what I'm saying? So I get why you're upset. What I'm saying is, if we can try to have some
Yeah, I
kind of
agree,
discipline,
yeah.
then we can understand. And maybe after they hear your story, they might.
No, but they know.
Well, I don't know if they know. The truth is, the problem is the Muslim community here are the majority, right? So you're going to have a whole lot of constructive Muslims, but you're going to have some who are not constructive, but they're the ones who are going to come forward.
Yes, but Raven, I'm going to be honest with you. When someone says, if you say you agree with Sharia, you agree with it in entirety. And if you agree with Sharia, then you agree with her being put to death under that regime.
There's two very
So how can
there's
she
two
be...
tricky things going on here. One, you're from the transgender community. That's something that many of us can't even understand, right?
Yeah.
Some of us think it's something that it might not be, right? Also, believing in something that is of a faith base. That's also very tricky. Because when you believe in something you can't prove, you have to believe as part of a cultural group. Then it limits conversation because they go, well, something bigger than me tells me this, and because it's bigger than me, I cannot go against it. And you cannot bring any evidence to go against it because it's a belief.
And you need to challenge them.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well,
They need to be
that's what I'm saying.
challenged.
Yeah, but I'm saying let's challenge it with respect so we can actually have a conversation. Before you know, what you say might be correct, but they're not going to listen to you because you're saying horrible words, and vice versa from them to you, right?
Yeah.
So if they're saying you should never transition and you should never live this way, well then if they come with you respect, then maybe they might get back and forth. So you might go, you know what? You're right. Let me go back and do whatever. Obviously, it's not going to happen. What I'm saying is that's more likely to happen on some level if you have a back and forth. But the name calling, I guarantee from the weeks to weeks to weeks that we've seen,
All right, but
it will never be
100%.
Let's just say they're very simple and stuff. It still doesn't take away from the fact that I would die under Sharia.
Okay, so there's the Sharia, which is an ancient law that happened before they were born, and there's them. I've met many Muslims one-on-one, and they are conflicted in themselves with certain things that the Muslim community do, or laws that they have to uphold. Matter of fact, there are Muslims here smoking and drinking, and we know they shouldn't be doing that. There's Muslims here womanizing, and they shouldn't be doing that, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's a very tricky topic, but I don't think you should always brush the whole Muslim community with one brush. Like Sharia, everyone wants to kill me because. Technically, if they got to know you, I doubt they would. Half of these people are.
No, but
Look at Pakistan with that lady, you know.
Yeah, that Sophia Bibi.
Look at her.
The whole country. So basically, I a couple of weeks ago started condemning Pakistan, and I got a lot of heat for it. One of the reasons was Sophia Bibi. She's been in prison in Pakistan for 8 years as a Christian because she said something about Muhammad, and they put her in prison on a death penalty.
And the government.
And so 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, a governor tried to get her free. He was assassinated.
And the judges.
Just last week, the government, so big up to Pakistan, decided to release her. But there have now been millions of people within Pakistan protesting her and wanted to be killed because she said something about Muhammad. And they done £1 billion worth of damage, and they're calling for the death of the judges, her, and they, law in the family over words.
So the point,
And it's not proven. It's not proven. It's not proven.
The point is just showing that Sharia in its concept is very rigid and very brutal towards minorities like herself or a Christian. So how can we as non-Muslims support a system like that?
The LGBT community.
Q+.
QA+.
Okay, remixes, right? But what kind of Abrahamic faith isn't of a similar kind of nature? All Abrahamic faiths seem to be the same, right?
Yeah, but none of them enforce the laws.
Yeah.
But where's the law?
And also, no, I'm not-
Pakistan,
I'm not-
Saudi Arabia,
I'm not-
Iran,
Yeah.
Iraq,
Okay.
Afghanistan, Indonesia. Oh, well, partly, it's being enforced all over the place. So this has real life consequences, and if you don't challenge these bad ideas, they will come to fruition. I don't agree with what she did in terms of saying that.
A good argument is the best weapon you can ever have.
Yeah, so I agree with that as well, but I can't stop her from saying what she wants. Do I agree with it? No, she shouldn't be assaulted either.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. No one would disagree.
But your argument would be that you could gain some understanding through discussion, but there are fundamental bases that create. She may feel rejected by the structure of Islam, and she quite rightly would reject Islam on that basis. But you might be able to justify a peaceful understanding, but there's still going to be a fundamental disagreement, and that's just with you and with her having a discussion.
Actually, go. You must go there. So
I'm saying when we speak as corner, we want to conduct ourselves in a way where people can learn. I'm saying if we use name calling, no one's going to learn.
No, I think
You're saying, right? Well, I'm saying that when I'm here, that's why I try to jump in. And when two people are arguing, I have to think who's most in control. It might be you, it might be the other.
But what we're trying to also say is that what we're always trying to say is that I don't agree with her saying F whatever. I wouldn't do that. Okay. But can you understand from her point of view?
I understand 100%,
that
right?
people are going around saying, why do you not like this religion? But in that faith, they have a death penalty for someone like her. So she's going to feel very hostile towards those people.
It might be ridiculous to yourself, right?
It's like someone saying to you that they've got an ideology of Nazism that puts for the death of minorities or black or whatever. And of course, when you meet a Nazi, they might be a nice person, but you hate them because of their ideology. She has the same reaction.
I'm on record debating many Nazis, many white supremacists, right? And there is no name for them. I speak to them so people who are watching can understand both arguments, so people can make.
But you do know she's quite young though. She's only 20. So
I mean, I've been.
No, but even still.
Yeah, I mean, you can still speak about the person, right? I mean, you can still have a conversation. Okay, well, name calling. What I'm saying is, person name calling, attacking the person.
Oh my God. One of my fans, my biggest fans, he's come all the way to see me. He's come all the way to see me. My biggest fan. My biggest fan. My biggest fan.
Hear him out, see what he's saying.
My biggest fan.
See, now we're getting to the name calling now, aren't we? It's name calling.
Hello, the guy's rude.
Maybe, but hear him out just for me, because I'm here now. Let me see his rules so I go there.
Alright, you talk to him then. Don't talk to me. Go through him to me. I'm not listening. I'll tell you what to do. I'm not listening. What are you going to do if I do to you?
How can you see? Everyone, look at what's happening, right?
I'm not listening.
Everything I say will happen, it's happened now. No discipline, no decorum, and this will always happen.
I've seen to Ardz, yeah, in terms of being sincere, if he took Sophia to Punjab in India where he's from, what would happen to her? But would she be accepted or not? Answer the question.
Can you repeat that?
So he's saying that if you were to take Sophia to your country,
Not just that, I think there's a lot.
how would they treat this individual?
Alright, there is such a thing as culture and religion. Culturally, it's completely frowned upon within the Punjabi culture. We have words like Usre, and that's in the whole Punjabi culture. So there's Sikhism and there's Punjabi culture. But because a lot of Sikhs are Punjabi, it's mixed. So there are a lot of Punjabi people who are Sikh who are very against trans issues.
But as Sikhs, we do not
how could
condemn people
I-
like this.
Within the faith,
Within the faith, from what I know, what I've researched,
Yes, I'm
we don't
transgender.
condemn people like this. But we
I
don't.
would,
We
under
also
Sharia.
do support traditional values, but we don't condemn these people like these guys do. They want to call for the
Do you hear
death
his
of them.
answer? Do you hear his answer?
So Punjabi culture is backwards.
That's his answer.
Punjabi culture can be backwards, and
Sex
that's one of the
changes, yeah,
backwards.
but that is also a problem because gay people are not trans. So why would a country offer gay people sex changes?
All right, same way that you could say Arabian culture is rooted from Islam, or vice versa. So what I'm saying is that there are such things as culture and religion, and they mix. But when you look at the core tenets of the Sikh belief, we do not believe in gender when it comes to spirits. When we die, we don't have a gender. Whereas other faiths, like the Abrahamic faiths, when you go to heaven, you're a man and a woman. So it's much more rigid in its thought process of a man and a woman. So we could, in essence, you know, be more flexible.
I know I
That's why the
shouldn't, but
Hindus
I
and the
would.
Sikhs are more flexible when it
I know I
comes to
shouldn't, but I would.
within the culture, because that's been kind of influenced by other stuff, the Punjabi culture is very misogynistic, and very misogynistic and patriarchal. So they have a big problem with it, but not the religion in itself.
No, but Sharia is
Whereas with Islam, the religion in itself is the core of the problem, because the scriptures are the core of the problem, because under Sharia they want to call for the death of
they
it.
think it's perfect.
So what do you think about that? Would you call for the death of it under Sharia?
So Sharia
Yeah,
is not
Sophia, he admitted it. At least he's honest. I'm going to give the man props.
Exactly. This
Fair
man's
enough.
telling this
The
man's
only
telling me
guy,
I wouldn't
let me
be
guess what? He's not a chocolate Muslim. Well done.
So you can understand why I wouldn't like your religion.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
As a Muslim, yeah, we submit to the Sharia of Allah.
But what was your moral compass say? If you saw her and she'd been convicted, would you be standing back and saying, I'll be okay with it?
Personally, my moral compass is irrelevant. I think it's not my decision to make. If Allah calls us in the Sharia,
Right, so-
no, Sharia calls us.
So if your kid was
here's
born
what
gay,
I'm saying that I
and then,
would be
no, but let's just, for argument's sake, alright, so say if your kid became gay, for argument's sake, would you be okay under
yeah,
all
but even
the
saying it's
jurisprudence of
100%,
men
that's still, in my opinion, very sick that I can even possibly feel. That's still very
According to
disgusting.
him, 100%. According to him, it's in the scriptures.
What about
I mean, your Muslim brother right here just said that I would be killed.
I'm living in Sharia state, and that's
So there's some Sharias that say
you put her in a hole and stone her to
So
the
now there's different types of Sharia.
Oh, yeah, the people.
I've never heard of different types of Sharia.
Sharia has been taken out of
And then you stone her to death.
by people
system in that country, bro.
to
You think that's normal?
If I go to India and I
There's
eat
some parts of
No, no, I'm
Sharia.
saying,
no, if I go to your country and I eat
India, you messed up.
The thing is, it's
I'm not
even-
Hindu.
Yeah, but it's
I
not
don't
even
care what
just
you
about
eat.
homosexuals, even apostate.
Yeah, they're savages. The Hindus are savages as well.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, they're crazy as well.
Obviously, I'll have to
But it's Sharia.
Down to the BJP and the RSS and Modi. They're crazy
When
as well.
somebody is in there,
They're crazy as well.
I'll have to face
But I'm calling them crazy.
the same way if
But I'm calling them crazy. I'm condemning them. I'm condemning them for their savage behavior.
What would the
So I'm
penalty
asking,
be?
what about if someone, if they was under Sharia and they said Islam is shit, or Muhammad is a
Obviously,
prick or
because
something, they would be
your
killed for
faith
that.
is so rigid
Look at Assisi
that
Bibi.
any
Look
kind
at-
of
she was in prison
disagreement
for
with any
7
part of
years.
it, the whole religion
In
falls
Pakistan.
down. So if you say I don't agree with Sharia, it's a domino effect. The whole thing just topples. So you have to agree with everything because it's based on a
But
basis.
the thing that I have a problem with is that you say one thing and then other Muslims say another thing. So who is the Sophia?
That's why you got such strict blasphemy laws. Do you agree
From
with
what I've heard, I'm going to be honest with you. I've read parts of it and it has made me consider.
Do you agree with Sophia Bibi being on a death penalty, or no? But do you agree when she was on the death penalty? No, but even if she did do it, but if she did do it, but there's one argument that if she did do it and she said Muhammad was X, Y, Z, would you agree with the death penalty for it? Oh, see, look, he agrees with the death penalty.
Let me tell you why. Let's speak in context. We believe in democracy. You believe in democracy. You believe in social consensus. So if the majority believe that blasphemy should not be allowed, then that's up to them.
but it was 3 female witnesses. Should have been 4 at least 4 female witnesses.
It's a very long process.
So let me just.
I agree with blasphemy. If the majority of the country agree with blasphemy, I
All
agree
right,
with
so
it.
let me just. No, for your own morality, forget about your country, forget about your religion. You're just a human being at the moment. Take it all out. The woman was a poor woman from a village. She went to drink some water from the Muslim well. The Muslim women got angry because they said she dirtied the water. So what they did, she had an argument, and just for argument's sake she said it. She then said that she's Christian, and they were saying you've got to convert, and she said Muhammad was X, Y, Z. Then she was, she then condemned Muhammad. Then she was put on a death row, taken away from her kids for 8 years, and she was waiting a death sentence. Do you agree as a human being?
What did she say though, Raj? What did she say?
You disagree with Sharia?
No, I don't disagree with Sharia.
What did she
That's
say
Sharia.
exactly?
There's a context when it comes to this.
Chocolate Muslim.
There's a context when it comes to this. What about mercy? What about mercy?
I suppose mercy, but I said
The people in Pakistan, they weren't interested in mercy.
that's why she got freed.
Yeah, no, the government were, but many of people.
If I say she did insult, let's just ask you a hypothetical. Let me ask you a hypothetical. Let me ask you a hypothetical. Just for argument's sake. Say she totally cursed at Muhammad.
So let's just came outside.
Yeah, she was cursing.
No, F this, F Islam.
I thought she was why should she be put to death for that?
Listen, no, we're allowed to criticize. We're allowed to criticize.
Would she be put to death? I'm not saying that answer this. Would she be put to death for that?
I'm not too sure about that.
No, but the end consequence would have been a death penalty.
Listen,
Oh, they always do this to the
what
judge.
country was she?
I'm asking you a moral question. Would you agree if the judge said she needs to be put to death for that? Would you agree with it? It's not about the legalities. You don't need to be a lawyer to say yes or no. I would say no.
It's a long process though.
No, I'm asking the end result is somebody.
Guys, let me make it easy.
They're doing
Now, if when this is your fault, you might not be allowed to have it, I don't know. He's asking, it's how you first it don't affect me, bro. And it's how you feel about it, right? Yeah? So that's what he's asking.
You don't. Right, so if I said to you right now, the punishment for someone being murdered is life imprisonment. I don't need to be a lawyer or a judge to pass judgment on whether that's right or wrong. No, I don't need to be a lawyer or someone with legal training to know. No, it is the same thing because the ultimate punishment for blasphemy, is death. So I'm asking you as a human being, do you agree if somebody walked outside and said F this, F that about your religion, should they be put to death under Sharia?
Like I said, majority of the country will agree.
What about you? Personally, he's asking you personally.
You might not be. When you step into speak, you have to make sure you're pressure. He's put the pressure. If you're not pressure, then you're stuck back.
Pressure. I say like with the majority.
I'm asking you as an individual, not the country. Don't do the pussy way around.
How's the pussy way?
Ask the question.
I
Yes or
believe in
no.
social consensus.
Do you believe in a death penalty for somebody for doing that particular
I don't
crime?
believe in death penalty.
No. Do you agree with a death
If someone
penalty?
comes in the road and just says F this,
So you would agree with them being executed? Oh, well then you don't agree with Sharia then?
No, I do agree with Sharia.
Or say if the end result was they will be put on death row, like CCFE before.
For example, if someone was to be disrespectful to the faith, and then they were prosecuted, you would agree with that. Well, they're saying if the final
Verdict was death.
he wants to know how would you feel? That's it. It's a yes or no, yes or no.
It isn't just a no question. I say it's disgusting.
It's not a simple question. That's why.
But to me, it's a simple answer. Do you understand why a lot of people have a problem when you're talking to Muslims and you hear stuff like this? You're like, whoa, these people's morality is like in chaos.
It's not that.
I question your morality.
Only certain people should step forward.
If you think like
If
this.
this like works, right? Because if you can't
Yeah, I'm going to end it now anyway. We're going to come back to this.
he knows how your faith is. He knows how you are.
So all I'm saying, rather than scapegoating, trying to like deflect, just answer the question like a man and say, I agree with it or disagree with it. It's very simple. You don't need to be a lawyer. Are you an intelligent guy?
He would, definitely he would.
So you're thick?
Because every time, every place has different
Are you at least average of average intelligence?
You can change
Yeah, average. So do you think an average person would understand that if the punishment for stealing a car is 4 years imprisonment, and I say I agree with it or disagree with it, that's quite a simple answer. So if I'm asking you, so there's a context there. Right, so let's say that they stole it because they wanted to and they wanted to have a fast ride, yeah, and enjoy themselves, joyriding. I'm saying to you, I'm giving you a hypothetical that somebody has gone to the street and said FYZ about your religion, they've then been prosecuted like Sophia and they've got a death sentence. Would you agree with that person being put to death as a human being, as an individual?
Are we Muslims that you ask people like us?
Can you see what you're working with?
Could you at any time accept the death penalty for people? You could accept that under Sharia. You could accept the death penalty.
It's you as an individual.
You do.
He might not be fit for purpose in this conversation.
No, he's fit for purpose. Like he is somebody like most Muslims are chocolate Muslims. They know what they're saying is wrong. They know deep inside that their faith with Sharia is wrong. They know it's barbaric and evil, but they cannot say it openly because if they say it, they're going against their religion.
It's disgusting and it's bullshit.
So I appreciate this guy saying that because
disgusting and it's
I
bullshit.
can see that
It's
morally
disgusting
in
and
his
it's
eyes,
bullshit.
he
Fuck
knows what he's
Sharia.
thinking is wrong. It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. So well done. I can see in your eyes you disagree with it. You disagree with it.
So there you go. So what I'm saying, that's how we want to kind of conduct ourselves. Ask questions, get answers. But like I said, no one's going to agree with you, Raj, innit?
I don't want people to agree with me.
Unique situations. They have a unique situation. As part of their faith that's different from you.
And it needs to be challenged.
Well, yeah, that's why you're here, Sleep School.
Because they have real life consequences for people like your Sophia Bibi.
Well, I can't say this.
No, there are real people suffering because of this system. No. There are real people suffering because of this system.
After how many years?
But she has to leave the country.
I disagree with
But people want to still kill her. The whole country's in flames.
the whole country is like a political
They cause £1 billion worth of death damage. They asked for the death penalty of all the judges. Imran Khan they want out. They want to kill the general. Does that seem normal to you? But the reason why they want it is because your Sharia is asking for the death penalty and it hasn't been served. So they are getting angry because they believe that the actual justice was not served. And it comes back to Sharia.
So many Pakistanis disagree with those Muslims that are protesting in the streets right now. Have you seen the news?
I know, but they're not real Muslims then, are they?
Those people that are protesting,
They're cultural Muslims.
sufficient evidence for IBB anyway. I'm just
They're cultural Muslims.
When did you become qualified to make a judgment?
I'm just giving my opinion. I'm allowed to give my opinion.
Are Muslims allowed to disagree?
I can have an opinion.
Are Muslims allowed to disagree? So even though they...
Yeah, of course, we're having a discussion, yeah.
So I'm saying, there might be laws within their faith, but they might disagree. Are they allowed to do that?
Of course, I want them to disagree with it.
So far...
In fact, I want them to.
Disagreeing with certain...
No, but what I'm saying, my point is I want them to.
I get that.
I want them to look at themselves and say, all right, this looks wrong, and take it out.
Raj, let me tell you something, bro. Yeah, that's wrong. Who made the judgment that it's wrong?
Because people like her will suffer if she was born in the wrong country. If she was born in the wrong country, which is run by Sharia, she will be dead.
Yeah, there's no country.
I'm saying that's always the case. It means it can't work. If there's no country, hold on, let me ask you a question. If there's no country in the world, if there's no country in the world that has how many Muslim countries are there?
I'm within my right.
All of them cannot implement Sharia. It's unworkable. I'm saying it's not workable. In the 21st century, it's unworkable. It's unworkable. Every Muslim always says, they always say there's no country with Sharia. It means it can't work. There are countries with communism. There's countries with fascism. There's countries with democracy. But you cannot have a country with Sharia because it's unworkable in the 21st century. Elements.
Definitely is different.
Because the full thing is unworkable. They take out the bad bits. God don't take out the bad bits.
Because it's film Raj that America and the UK
almost one
infiltrated.
half.
Are always the UK and America. Why not take responsibility for your own actions?
Why do you think the Saudi regime is so tight with America? Why do you think that?
So do you believe that? I bet you're one of those guys that ISIS
Would have some harms.
No, I was trying to ask because I want to know your mentality. Is ISIS run by Israelis? No, yes or no? No, because I want to know your mentality. Before I talk to you, I need to know where you're coming from. Are you one of those type of guys that says don't take responsibility for them being bad Muslims, but would say me that they're run by the Israelis and they're just a false group. No, answer it. See, look at this.
Are you letting me
There you
answer?
go,
You're not letting me answer, bro. I'm saying to you right now, am I on the field in Iraq or Syria to know what ISIS are about?
But it's your own
I'm here in
opinion.
London right now.
But do you believe it? There's a lot of Muslims that say, to deflect from the fact that they're bad Muslims, they will say they're not Muslims, but they're actually Israeli agents.
Listen, at the end of
Are
the
you
day-
one of those guys?
at the
Yes or
end
no?
of the day-
You just
at the end of the
say,
day-
you just, it's an answer, yes or no.
Bro, okay, let me tell you what
If
I
it's
believe.
no, say no.
Say no to what?
Do you believe ISIS do you believe ISIS here are agents of the Israelis?
I don't believe conspiracy theories like that. No, I don't.
Oh,
But
cool,
I do
cool.
believe that they do have. They are like ethically driven parties. I do believe that the people within their like that serve governments around the world and stuff. But I don't believe it's run by Israel or like specifically.
All right. You'll get on with him then. Him, he's a conspiracy theorist as well.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Do you class yourself as British?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm British. I'm a British passport. I'm British.
All right, well done. But do you see yourself as British though?
But what do you do? I see.
Like I call myself a British Punjabi.
Buy that.
Would you say you're a British?
Oh, well, see
But
that.
do you?
Is he allowed to identify as Muslim first?
No, he can, but as long as he identifies the British as well.
Why?
Because we need to have a unit. What I'm talking about social cohesion. I've seen over the last. What you lot don't understand. I come from a Muslim area, and when I'm not going to tell a jihadi. When I come here, why would I tell a jihadi my freaking address? Sorry. So I'm not going to say that. So basically, I come from an area where I saw Muslims very integrated. Over the years, I don't know what's happening. Instead of becoming more integrated, their children are less integrated. And what's happening is that the ones from the 80s when I grew up, this is why I'm frustrated. Because I see my friends from the days, I was like, whoa, like their kids are like fully hating the UK. Like, if we're gonna live together. Hold on. No, but if we're gonna live together, we must be able to unify under one umbrella.
The question comes from that, right? Have you found out
Raj, can I tell you something?
He said something.
You will never be white, bro.
No.
You will never
I
be
don't
white.
want to be white. I love being brown. I love being brown. I was actually trying to get a tan the other day, to get darker. I want to get darker. I want to get really dark.
Right. You said you came from a community where they're integrated, right? Yeah. As time went by, you found frustration in the Muslims and they said this. Have you established what it is that made them frustrated?
But what it is, they've forgotten. Look, like all communities, when they settle, like all communities, when they come down to the UK, including the Sikh community and the Hindu community, you have to like forget about your roots to a certain degree. Like when my dad come down and the people come down, religion didn't play a poor part because what they were trying to do was work and build their community up. What happened is when they get settled down, like the Sikh community, now Sikhs are more religious now than they were the last generation. You understand? This generation of Sikhs are more religious than the last generation, and this
Why is
generation
that?
of Muslims are more religious than the last generation of Muslims. That's cool. But the problem with Muslims when they become too religious, they then start detaching themselves from everybody else and have a them and us mentality of you're a kuffar, we're not a kuffar, we don't have nationality, we don't have this. What I'm trying to say to you is that it becomes a them and us situation. Whereas with other faiths, sorry Raven, other faiths like the Sikhs or the Hindus, when we become religious, that doesn't happen.
I agree. But let me
Raj, brother, you know what experience these people who are talking now regarding when our fathers came over. When you look at me, what do you see? How would you judge me as first impression?
I would say you're
What
probably
nationality?
one of the first generation.
Now, my father came here 1959 from Bangladesh. Now, he came here from 1959 Bangladesh. Okay. Now, he married my mother. He only married one woman until the very end, which was in 2004. My father was a Muslim. My mother was a Scottish, English Protestant. She never changed her religion. My father didn't change his religion. They lived happily together until the very end. I've experienced life from the Bangladeshi side and from the English
Give her one for me.
And what I've
Use a
learned
rubber as
is
well,
that
just in case.
the
Go over there.
racism
Bara
can
bunda.
be in both sides.
Bara bunda. Go over there,
The truth
boy.
about it is when when both sides become more educated,
You can't beat me in
they
heckling,
then
I'm telling
become
you.
more tolerant and understanding.
Well, that's what we're trying to say here. That he's talking about education is the key. When you educate each other about each other's cultures, then you're going to minimise this confusion.
Well, I know a lot about Muslims because I grew up with them. First 18 years were just Muslims.
And you're happy with it, right?
Of course, this is what I'm trying to explain. I didn't hang around with Sikhs until I was 19. Yeah, I only had majority 95%. Most of them were Pakistani or Bengali or Indian. I'm saying the generation that maybe you and me are from, that generation was very integrated. Yeah, there was no problems. I remember going round, and this is going to sound silly. When it was Eid, we go Happy Eid. When it was Diwali, Happy Diwali. It was exchange gifts. What's happened now is if I say to a Muslim who's religious Happy Diwali, they're like nothing. You don't even say. Would you say Happy Diwali to me? If I said to you Happy Eid, hold on. If I said to you Happy, all right. So anybody, so if I said to you Happy Eid, and when it's Diwali, and I say Happy, would you say Happy Diwali? All right. What about a Hindu then? Any Hindu? Would you say Happy Diwali to them?
I don't celebrate Diwali.
So can you see the problem? So these little small things that used to integrate us has become problematic.
Is there any other thing that can happen that you can integrate? So, for example, if he plays sports and you play sports, you can play sports together.
Right, where are you from? In what country are you from? Are you Punjabi? All right, so this is the problem. It's very important because one of the things that used to connect me to Pakistanis was we were Punjabi. I may be Sikh, but we're still Punjabi. What's happened? Big Ardz is one of the only Pakistanis that says I'm a Punjabi. That's why I get on with. That's why I get on with Big Ardz.
Pakistanis that say fuck Kashmir and Punjabi.
I'm not saying all, but I'm saying what's happening is that with him, he said I've got no nationality, no ethnicity. So whatever connection I might have had with him from ethnicity is gone. It's like the black community. We're only Muslim. And so any connection you might would have you're Jamaican. Yeah, Jamaican. So some Jamaicans will say, I'm not Jamaican, I've got no ethnicity. This is what's happened with me and the Muslim community, because a lot of people that I used to get on with, or they told them like, we've got no ethnicity, we've got no connection to that place, we're not Punjabi, we're just Muslims. I'm saying that. What do you see?
I'm not telling you. I said I'm not telling you.
Yeah, he says I'm telling you.
Alright, but I'm just saying what I've seen over a period of time. Not all. Let me say it's not all, but it's a trend that I've seen.
Where's the origin of Punjab? Is where in Pakistan, isn't it?
In Lahore as well. Lahore was there.
It's not where you're from, wherever you're from, is it?
We run those things. We used to run that place.
Used to, bruv.
We used to run that place. No, let me just say something. Punjab belongs to everybody.
1 minute,
Yeah? The capital used to be in Lahore, yes. And you have Lahore.
Raven, give up, Raven.
But Punjab is Punjab. No matter where it is, Punjab is Punjab.
And you get Pakistan.
Let me ask you one other question. Before your people were Muslim, what were they?
Hindu.
But do you respect the Indian culture of like the Rig Vedas? See, the Rig Vedas, the Mahabharata.
Come from Gujarat.
See, you know, like with black people, when they become Muslims, all they know is about anything up to Islam. You know, Indian history is 10,000 years old. But if you ask him anything before the 10th century, he will know nothing.
I'm a Muslim, bro.
Yes. So, but your people were Indian at one point. Before they were Muslim, there was no Islam 10,000 years ago.
Brother, that's the point.
You understand? How can I connect with a man if he won't even talk about stuff like that?
Let me explain. You know, let me just say one thing, please. From the conversation that I hear, and I've listened to you on YouTube and the things that gang do and try and educate the next generation, which I agree with, I think it's really commendable. However, the conversations that I hear here are about colour of skin, where we're from, my nationality. You know something? It's all BS, if you know what I mean, because I understand that we all have cultures. My grandfather came from Gujarat, well, Indian descendant. My father Bangladeshi, my mother Scottish, my son has a Jamaican grandparents. So what I'm saying is, when you understand and you have education and you look at the broader picture, it boils down to the same thing as what's going on in London. And the young children are fighting over a postcode which doesn't belong to them. So when people actually understand that we are one race and black is equal to white, there's no superiority between one or the other, we're all equal. When people are educated in that department, then they can progress forward. But people are tending to hang on to these...
Yeah, but Baji, can I...
Brother, I've been to Bangladesh 30 times. I go every year. I've built houses there.
I'm the biggest country you're going to meet.
But what I'm saying is, when I go there, I don't experience any racism at all in Bangladesh.
Because I'm trying to say one of the reasons why I got a disconnect with a lot of Pakistanis. The reason why I got a lot. So first of all, yeah, big up to Big Ardz, yeah, for doing what he did last week. Yeah, I know he's going to give me hostility as well, but I need to give him a congratulations. I think yeah. So one of the things I was trying to say to this bro here is that one of the reasons sometimes I have a disconnect to a lot of Pakistanis, like when you start talking about Indian history or anything pre-Islamic, it's like nothing. We don't want to talk about that, and they don't even see themselves as Punjabi or anything to do with it. They're just Muslim only, and it's problematic. And he's one of the people that is not like that, which is why I kind of get on with him.
Let me just.
I got a connection with him because of that.
Basically, I'm Pakistani. I'm proud to be a Pakistani. I'm proud to be Punjabi too. But on top of that, we are Muslim, innit? So that's where you're getting it conflicted and wrong. A lot of the brothers, what they're trying to tell you is that they're Muslim first. That's the first thing.
No, they say Muslim only.
Okay.
I said I'm Muslim.
All right. So before you got asked your Indian history,
I said
before
I
your
don't care
people were
about
Muslim,
Indian history. I don't care about.
Let me speak in it. I don't care about. I have to disagree with that because from the Deen I know, the Deen doesn't tell me not to be proud of what I am, who I am. It just tells me don't think I'm better than other people from that. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm allowed to know who I am, be proud of who I am, but I shouldn't think that I'm better than you, or anyone else. Do you understand? So maybe you've got your wires conflicting with people, but as Muslim, you're allowed to be proud of who you are and know who you are and what distinguishes you from others. Yeah? So that's cool.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is from Pakistan, we have
that,
Sindhis, Balochis, Afghanis, Punjabis, you know what I mean? And everyone's proud of their actual heritage.
Listen, Raj, listen.
I'm saying that from our age group, that's true. Like when I'm 43, so when I'm growing up here, when we're growing up here, like people go, we're Punjabi. The one thing used to connect me with the Pakistani, we're all Punjabi. What happened is the next generation I've seen is that when you start asking where you're from, oh no, we don't believe in ethnicity. We don't believe, we're just Muslim only. And that's problematic because how can you bond with someone?
Can I come in there?
How can you bond with that man? How can you bond with that man? Like if he doesn't even recognise his history or his I'm detached from him because the only thing I've got in common with him is that. Like, the reason why I get on with you is like when you say you're Punjabi, I'm like, yeah, Punjabi, like, I can connect with you that.
Within Pakistan itself, you get people that are different thingies.
Yeah, Punjabi, Sindhis,
No, not even that. You get people that be from the same area. One person can be Raja, one person can be Gujar. They have beef with each other, bro. So what you're saying is you connected with man that you were Punjabi and this and that don't really make sense as well.
No, Punjabi is a culture and a history which is 10,000 years old. Before you was Muslim, your people were Punjabi
and stuff like that, right? Because people are starting to live in it. Yeah, well, people from Balochistan are starting to live in Punjab, stuff like that, vice versa, right? But what I'm saying, what he's talking about is actual history. If you go back into the history, right, those parts of the world were inhabited by Punjabis, and Sindh was inhabited by Sindhis.
How far do you want to
He was King Borders.
Because you can go back.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask him that question. Who's King Borders?
Well, I told you I don't know.
Who's King Borders? King Borders was one of the only people in Punjabi to push back Alexander the Great. So this guy doesn't know his own history. Like King Borders is one of the only men to push back Alexander the Great, and he pushed him back from Punjab. And he was a Punjabi.
I don't know that.
He was a Punjabi. He was a Punjabi. It was a
I
stalemate.
was checking the Chima history today, and they were saying that we can trace ourselves back to the Shakas, and Saka, like that, and we even fought Alexander when he came, and our women even fought. We died trying.
Yeah, because King Borders, I don't know what tribe he was from, but they were the only people.
That's what we mean by history.
So when you should be proud of that as well.
No, let me tell you something. Why I studied my deen first, I believe my deen was going to get.
I know, but this is the problem.
We're not saying that. What we're asking you is you're Muslim, but what he's asking you as a person, where do you come from? What's your history? That's what he's asking.
I'm not willing to tell him
that. So you can't just say I'm Muslim.
No, I told him.
Do you understand what I mean?
What would you tell him?
I tell him off camera when you're not present.
So you don't want to do it on camera, basically. That's cool. So have a discussion with him off camera.
You can have a discussion.
No, he will tell you.
I don't want to talk to the man.
Off camera.
You don't have to like me.
But you might like him after.
I don't want you to like me,
No.
I don't want you to like me.
A lot of times you have discussions with people only on camera, and
I haven't got time for certain
if you speak
people
with
today,
people
man.
off camera,
No, maybe next time. I'd rather approach
you know
him
what
on
I'm
time.
saying? Off camera, sometimes it can be better discussion.
So I'm going to say something just on camera that I'm not going to be talking about the grooming issue. Someone tried to push me into it before.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
No. What it is, I don't want to talk about it because I want people to have a bit of breathing space. Because I've spoken about it for a year. I want to start tackling something else. I want to start tackling my own community with the alcohol problem because I'm sick and tired of alcohol. Khalistan is too much of a big problem. Now the alcohol problem is something that, look, for me personally, is a big. How can I solve Khalistan?
No, I didn't say solve it. I said start speaking about Khalistan.
Oh, I've spoken about it. I went to the Khalistan rally.
Because your Sikh brothers.
But you know, it was on the Khalistan rally.
No, no.
Sikh brothers
No,
need
the
their
thing
own
is,
homeland.
let me just say something. Khalistan is such a hot topic and so nuanced. It's no way I can have a conversation by myself.
bro.
And I need to never seek it. And do you know why Pakistanis are pro Khalistan?
Pakistan or am I
Let me say. I'm not talking about you.
Talk about the government.
So let me
Say
talk
the
about
government.
a lot of Pakistanis say they support Khalistan, which is a separate homeland for the Sikhs. The reason being, they want the Sikhs out of India because not you. I'm not. They want the Sikhs out of India because it's on the border and they want to invade India. And they know the Sikhs are the only thing keeping out the Pakistani army.
I'm going to ask Raj one thing. At the moment, in present day, what should be Punjab in India, what part of it is actually called Punjab? How much of it is actually called Punjab? Now?
But when you count in Haryana and Chandigarh and stuff, that's still Punjab as well.
That's the question though. I'm asking you, what part of it is actually called Punjab? Not Haryana and
No, we are called Punjab as well.
No, I'm asking you, out of the whole area that was designated to you, on your side of India,
it has been cut up.
Are you listening?
Yeah, I know.
So can you address that? Can you answer that
Yeah,
question?
I'm against that and I want to unify all those states.
Man
Because
loves to
Chandigarh
talk
and
about,
Haryana
man
should
loves
not.
to talk about rights.
Chandigarh and Haryana.
India
Chandigarh
is cutting up Punjab.
India is a disgrace
You know,
as well.
like, if you look at the map
I've
now,
said that. India's a
Punjab
disgrace.
is a third of its size that it used to be in India.
Because whenever I ever
Right?
said, that
In Pakistan,
I always
it's probably
say,
growing.
You can see 50 videos where I say I'm not Indian. And the reason I'm not Indian, I'm Punjabi, I'm an Indian, is because I don't support a country that is carving up the Punjab, taking all the pani.
Are we going to agree today that Modi is a terrorist?
Modi is a prick. Someone needs to prick him or kind of like do a coup. RSS are demons, and the BJP,
what did he do?
BJP are terrorists.
Did he kill people in
Of
Gujarat?
course, sir. He's a devil.
Is he?
He's the enemy of the Sikhs. What they're trying to do in Punjab right now.
Did you see that video
What
I
they're trying to
posted
do?
on YouTube?
What they're trying to do in
About the
Punjab
Sikh
right
in
now?
Pakistan?
Yeah.
How was it?
I didn't see it.
I posted a video about how Sikhs are treated in Pakistan, yeah? And the Sikh brother was defended by every single person that witnessed the act. Not like here, like you might see racism and one person will act out at 20. There, every single person defended him because of his minority.
It's all territorial arguments, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it
Her
is.
name is, at least get her name right.
I don't want to get
At least get her name right.
Let's give it nicely. Let's give it nicely.
We can speak about that though.
Yeah, I
But
know,
what
I
I'm
know.
saying is have some respect for that lady and get her name right.
What is her name? The full name?
I think it's Asiya.
Oh, Sia, baby. All
So
right.
you're saying Asiya.
So I'm going to say something. I will say something. Big up to the Pakistan government for at least trying. Big up to the Pakistan government for at least trying to release her. But it's still in flux because she still is in danger.
Politics.
So it's still in danger. But I've got to give them props for at least standing by her and releasing her. Because I'm going to be going home, man.
Why? Is it dark? Is it dark now?
No, it's boring today.
I'm here, man. We shoot for Punjab here, bro.
Shook? You're mad, I'm shook. I'm trying. What it is, yeah, I'm trying not to argue with him, yeah, because I want to leave him alone.
You can't argue with me because you love
So,
me, really.
I don't want to argue. Look at his big arms, man. You see what he just did to me?
You can't argue with
Look
me.
at the size of these freaking hands. Look what he just did to
Stop
me.
doing that, man. You're gonna make people start coming for me.
Yeah, I know.
Every time you have to show my hands and shit.
That's my ulterior motive.
Huh?
That's my ulterior motive.
I ain't shook, bro.
No. So what time you here till?